All right. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of She Sound Off Podcast and YouTube channel. Of course, I am Keita, as known as Mystique Moon. I am your host, and I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited about this episode because, y'all, I have been going through a spiritual transformation. Now, I know I talk about that a lot, and because it's a huge part of my life, but this one, it seems like a whole nother chapter, y'all. And so, like, lately, I have been going through these highs and these low moments, and finally I have so much clarity on my direction. It's ridiculous. So your girl is pretty fucking happy right now. Before I get into it, I want to tell my YouTube watchers and subscribers, thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you for coming back and watching my channel. I promise you guys, listen, I just told you that I have gotten so much clarity. And so now my productivity is going to increase, okay? I promise. I have so much material. I have so much information to bring. I'm kind of revamping She Sound Off as a brand, and it's extremely exciting for all my podcast listeners. Thank you guys for coming back time and time again. You were the beginning. So if you guys have not checked out my YouTube channel, listen, go to YouTube, She Sound Off Podcast on YouTube, so you could put a face to the voice, okay? And so much more. If this message touches you in any way, please share it. Listen, I need more subscribers. I got to get this message out. I have so much fucking information. Spirit has been giving me constant downloads all fucking week long. And like, I have journals. Y'all don't understand. Like, I have hundreds of journals. 100 is exaggerating, but I have a lot of freaking journals just sitting around my house, just filled with so much information, so many thoughts. Like, my brain is constantly downloading things. So listen, this is me living in my dream. I'm walking in my dream, y'all, and I want to share that dream with you. So subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet subscribed, and if you have, share it to your page. All right, now that I got that out the way, that's the disclosure, okay? And while I sips my tea, y'all, on my YouTube, on my podcast, I'm sipping tea today because it's a tea time. High tea time, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's so good too. I think it's this is what it looks like. I think it's, and I got me a lemon in there, but I think it's like a raspberry, it's like a raspberry, lemon, and ginger, because I love ginger tea. Ginger tea is my favorite. And then I just added some raw honey up in there, you know, get that that throat chakra going, get that throat chakra working. Anyway, you guys, I'm really excited about this message because it actually goes into Mystique Moon. Now, I told you in the last episode that I briefly told you in the last episode that Mystique Moon is me, I am her, and she is me. And I didn't have really time to talk about it in that episode because I had my guest on there, and then we had a whole nother direction we were going. But now is the time. So who is Mystique Moon? Mystique Moon is me. She is my shadow self. I've been doing a lot of work on my inside, on my spirit, on my inner self, all of that. And what I found was there is more than one part of myself, and I didn't know that. So during the shadow period, there's so many different so much information out about shadow period, and I actually am going to do an informational video about what is the shadow period, my thoughts on it. Like I said, everybody is going to have their own take on it. It's going to be my experience and how I came to the conclusion and understanding of Mystique Moon. So it's kind of going to be like a little two-part series about it because, you know, it's very important that knowing that other side of you. So all of our lives, we've been told that, you know, don't step into the dark side, or, you know, if you entertain darkness is bad and you'll reap bad repercussions and all this other stuff. Like, this is what I was taught growing up. And it wasn't until I decided to open myself up to spirit completely. I opened myself up to spirit completely that I learned that Mystique Moon, which is my shadow self. I'm not going to say dark side because people get, you know, words kind of, it plays a really important part on people's perspective. But my shadow self was that person or that part of me that I kept locked in the closet. I kept her put away and I brung her out on certain occasions. But I never felt good about who she was, the role that she played in my life. And it wasn't until I went through the shadow period that I learned that Mystique Moon is a very important, as a matter of fact, she was the most important part of my life when I was going through that rough time, because it was my shadow self, my darker self, that got me to the light. Now I'm gonna repeat that. It was my dark self, my shadow self, that got me to the light. So during this process, or this spiritual transformation, Mystique Moon, once I started embracing her, the things about me that I don't like, the insecurities, the fears, the distrust, the dishonesty, all the things that I used to condemn myself for being, I started to embrace her. I did mirror work. Mirror work is when you look in the mirror, where for me, I looked in the mirror and I, just told myself all the things that I hate. And then the next time I told myself all the things that I love. And then the next time I read myself affirmations. And then it was just so many things going on, y'all. But at the end of the day, that mirror work had me to face my biggest insecurities about myself. And Mystique Moon is a makeup of those insecurities. For a long time, I didn't feel pretty. For a long time, I didn't like my stomach. Still working on that. Like, I got up running this morning, y'all, ain't bullshitting. But like, I didn't like my skin. I didn't like my hair. For years, I went through this. So what did I do like most people? Covered it the fuck up. I wore these girdles all the time, and I wore massive weaves all the time. I'm talking about all the time. Now, y'all know I got locks and this is weave, but I have to put them locks away because I got sick of them. But the point is, I locked those insecure, because I was so insecure about those things, I locked them away, and I didn't learn how to love them as well. Y'all know, there's two sides to everything. Okay, where there's darkness, there's light. Where there's up, there's down. Okay, and with understanding your shadow self, you understand that fact, and you heal from hurt, and you learn to embrace all of that shit. And no, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to stand in the mirror and tell myself how much I hated those things about myself. But I had to begin with the first part of healing, and that was acceptance. And you can't have acceptance without acknowledgement, okay? You have to acknowledge those things and those parts of you that you don't necessarily feel good about, those biggest insecurities. So I did that. So I did the mirror work, and then after the mirror work, I did a lot of journaling. I journaled about my thoughts, and I'm still in the process. I'm kind of taking a break though, but I journaled about my feelings, my deepest, darkest feelings, my deepest, darkest fears. I journaled about them because I got them out. And after I journaled about them, I went into meditation, and I said them to my God, to my spirit, to my ancestors, to my protectors. Like, I said those things, and I asked for guidance and stuff to release me of that, because it had a hold of me, The more I did this different type of work, there's more that I actually done, and I'll talk about that in other videos. But the more that I did this work on myself, the more I started to notice a different me. It was still me. Keita was still there. But the person that I was experiencing, and I speak to her in third person because sometimes it does feel third person, because I met this brave woman. She's fearless. She don't care about what people think of her. She sees her flaws as bouts of uniqueness. This woman, Mystique Moon, though she is a part of me, she's a whole nother side that I never knew existed, okay? And this is the shadow me. I feel it deep down inside, you guys. Once you start doing the work, you will start feeling it too, okay? Now, let's get into this podcast. I want to sound off to Metamorphosis, and I got my little notes over here. I want to sound off to Metamorphosis. What's the first thing to come to your head when you think about metamorphosis? It's the caterpillar, right? the caterpillar goes and it hibernates, so it goes into the metamorphosis phase where everything changes about it, the external and the internal. Well, this part of me is going through metamorphosis now, just like the caterpillar. The caterpillar survives for it does its necessary things that it needs to do to survive and to live. It stays in its environments that it needs to stay in. I mean, mostly you see caterpillars in trees, right? Caterpillars are in trees. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't like take a whole bunch of notes on this, so this is me freestyling this shit. All right. Sometimes I take notes so that I can know what direction I'm going in, but Spirit led me to this episode, so I'm gonna just freestyle it. So don't be calling me out if I get some shit wrong. So anyway, so a caterpillar mostly stays in trees, what I understand, you know, and so it eats what it needs to eat in order to survive. The body of the caterpillar is quite different than what it turns into, or what happens during metamorphosis, right? And so it goes through this period where it hibernates, it singles itself out, and it creates a shell or a cocoon, so that while it's going through this metamorphosis, it's protected. It's a hard exterior. So it's in there, and what's going on in that shell? What's going on while that caterpillar is going through that changing? The whole form of itself is changing. The color is changing. What happens with its digestive system, what happens with its purpose change, because the purpose of a caterpillar and the purpose of a butterfly are completely different. Now, what happens after all the change has been completed? It has gone through all the stages, because there's different stages. Y'all learned that in elementary school, the different stages of metamorphosis of a caterpillar. I don't remember that shit. But come on, throat chakra. But it goes through this change, and then out pops what? A beautiful, beautiful butterfly. So many different colors. It looks so pretty. Everybody loved the butterfly, but nobody liked the caterpillar. Nobody liked the caterpillar. And even worse, nobody liked the caterpillar when it was going through its cocoon stage. It was boring. It was sitting there. It didn't have no nothing. It was just there, right? So out popped this beautiful, beautiful butterfly. When you think of butterflies, you think of beauty. You think of, you know, sunshine and blue skies. You think of flowers and green grass. You think of beautiful, beautiful animals and creatures, and just everything that symbolizes a butterfly is beautiful. How come that connection isn't the same with the caterpillar? Well, let me tell you how. How does that relate to our life? Well, personally for me, when I was in my caterpillar stage, I did exactly what that caterpillar knew how to do. Okay? I did what I knew how to do. I survived. Okay? And it wasn't until I had to go within, like the caterpillar had to do, go within, where I found my true self. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Y'all listen, when we're going through life, you have to understand that there are different stages to this. You know, people say there's levels to this shit. It's so many different stages and elements to life. You cannot boggle yourself down with the now, the here, the now, the here, because that's not the end all be all unless you allow it to be. You have to be like the caterpillar and realize this when it's time to go through metamorphosis. You have to be like the, hey, Maddie. My baby in there. You want to say hey? No, it's 4:50. Oh, I'm supposed to be done at 4:50 because she has to play the game with her friends, and you're going to have to wait. So give me until 5. Okay, thank you. I'll be done soon. Anyway, so like I said, be like the, I don't know what I was saying before she came and interrupted me. But once you realize when that time has come where it's time for you to transform, you have a choice to either stay where you are, or you can take time alone, go into your shell, learn who you are, go through those shadow periods, go through those, heal that hurt that you have inside you, heal those things that have been stopping you from living in your best self. And then once you do that, then you will emerge. You'll emerge a whole different person. And you will take bits and pieces, because I'm pretty sure bits and pieces of that caterpillar still remains in that butterfly. I mean, I know that it sheds and it goes through this whole transformation and stuff on the inside of that shell. But I'm pretty sure there are things that's left over of that caterpillar that still lives within the butterfly. And that's just the same as us, y'all. We have to understand that transformation, it's something that is necessary, and it can elevate you. Who don't want to crawl, or you crawling, and then you go through this change and this whole different thing, and then you come out fucking like flying with wings, beautiful, beautiful, colorful, beautiful wings. Who doesn't want that life? Like, who don't want that life? I know I want that life, which is why I learned who Mystique Moon is. I embraced her because this is my metamorphosis. This is my metamorphosis. Y'all don't understand. You know, I'm learning to accept me. I'm learning to love me. I'm learning to walk in my truth. You think it's going to happen overnight? Hell the fuck no. It does not. Now, to be honest, we're not a damn caterpillar nor a butterfly. So our transformation is going to be completely different. It's going to be different. But I like to think that my transformation is better because I am deeply, deeply connected to my spirit and with my God. And so I'm learning so many other things. I'm learning how to like accept life for what it is, accept people for what they are, just accept things for how they are. I'm learning how to be a powerful ass manifester. And this is it, y'all. I am manifesting my dreams. I am manifesting the life that I want for me and my children and my family. I am manifesting the love that I want. Okay, when I say I'm manifesting the love I want, I'm not making a man. This ain't build a man like Build a Bear. What I'm doing is I'm learning what I want. I'm learning what I don't want. I'm learning what I'm willing to take and what I'm not willing to take. I'm learning what my boundaries are. I'm learning what my just everything that I want, that I'm willing to give and receive out of a relationship, a healthy relationship. As y'all know, I'm just like went through a toxic breakup, and that has been my cycle. So I'm breaking that cycle. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say I'm manifesting the person I want. He's here. He's on earth. I just have to be in the right mindset, in the right space in order to receive that love the way God has it for me. That's the same as being a parent. Through this metamorphosis, I've learned that you heal yourself, you heal your children. Okay? And it doesn't matter how far you've been through or how far you've come or what you've been through. Your children, if you've been there for them and deep down wholeheartedly, you can change the outcome of the perpetuating system that we were taught that we were in at our children, this whole cycle. Our children don't have to go through that. But before you can try to do anything with them, because children work off sight, honey. Okay? Children see it and they be it. They do it. Okay? So if you go through a change and your child see that no matter how far mommy or daddy has come from, they pick themselves up and they're a totally different person, your children are going to understand and know that that's real life. That is real life. If it's one thing during this metamorphosis that as a parent that I teach my child is you can come back from anything because they've seen me come back from it. I'm learning about my relationships, not just in my love life. I'm learning about it in my family and in my friendships. You know, I'm learning how important boundaries are. Nikita didn't set boundaries. Kita damn sure didn't set no boundaries. Well, Mystique Moon has boundaries. Mystique Moon, there's only so far that you can go with Mystique, okay? I'm learning to accept everything about me, my sexuality. I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to embrace how I feel on the inside, mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally, all of that shit. And that came from me taking time, like the caterpillar did, going to its shell. I went into my shell. I had to take a break from it all. Okay? I had to reset, realign, refocus, remove, redo, all those re's. I had to do the re-re. Okay, I had to do the re-re. I had to redo everything. And I didn't throw anything away. I just took my failures and I built and I grew off of them. Okay. And so in my friendships and my family ships, I learned that workships, I learned that boundaries are a very important part. You know, I had to take that time to myself and learn that the reason why I still feel like I'm getting shit on all the time is because I didn't set boundaries with people, you know, and because without boundaries, people have the ability to shit on you if they want to, because you allow that. You let those doors open and you didn't set a hard line in the fucking pavement and say, do not cross this line. These are my boundaries and it's set in stone. No, I will not move my boundary for you or no one else in this world. And that goes for everybody. I learned that through my metamorphosis. I learned the power of boundaries in every single person that you meet. I learned the power of boundaries. I learned how to accept what was, build off it, so that what's to come can be better. Living the best version of you means not to be ashamed of your past and be ashamed of the things that you went through. Okay? That means the best version of me is I can learn from my failures. The best version of you means that no matter what happens, no matter how hard things get, I know that I have the strength in me. I have the power in me through everything that I love and live for, and everything that every higher being or spiritual being that I represent. I know that I can come back from any fucking thing, and it doesn't matter what it is. That's what Metamorphosis has taught me. So you guys are seeing me going through this, okay? What you're going to see is a complete transformation, just like the caterpillar to the butterfly. I'm going to go through a complete transformation. I'm going to be totally unrecognizable, and that's what Mystique Moon has taught me. That's what going through a metamorphosis, spiritual metamorphosis, has taught me. That's what has gone into this cocoon and learning who I really am. And I do want to say this because I'm going to end it here. It don't stop there. Change, evolutions, it's been a journey. It has been. And I'm so glad that I created She Sound Off Podcast, because honestly, She Sound Off Podcast was a part of that metamorphosis because it was created in my fear. It was created in my fear. I didn't even know that I was birthing Mystique Moon when I first started She Sound Off Podcast. Yep, that's my cue. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Again, subscribe, y'all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. For all my podcast listeners, thank you guys so much. I love you. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, She Sound Off on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. I can't say the word enough. Subscribe. I need to get this message out there. Someone needs to hear it. Maybe you didn't need it this time. Maybe someone else did, but it needs to be heard. All right. Again, thank you guys for coming, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to end it here. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You're my life. You're mine. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You have to love you before you can love anybody and anything else in this world. So love you more. Thank you. Bye-bye.